All right. Looks like I am live. Going to check here and make sure that that is the case. So, and that it is not public, because that is also the point, is to not be a public stream. So, I think we're good. So, cool. All right. So, it looks like nobody's watching right now, but I expected that. So, I am going to make sure that I post the link again on Patreon just so that people know. So we'll do a link, attach that there. And that should be good. Okay, we'll see if that works for anybody. And then I'm going to go ahead and tweet about it as well really quickly here, just in case any last minute patrons join or something like that. Okay, so that is that. So I did this one a little bit differently this time, in which I did it on a Saturday night instead of a Monday night, as well as at 10:15 p.m. instead of 8 o'clock p.m. So I'm assuming that is probably some sort of factor as to why nobody's here currently. But that's how these streams usually go, or at least that's how the last one went. This is only the second time that I've done this for Patreon members here. So if you're seeing this, if I eventually make this a public live stream, which at the time of this one, I haven't made the last one a public live stream yet, but I'm more than likely going to do that. And I see one person has joined, is watching. So let me know who you are if you want to. So basically, as I did with the last one, essentially there's just some things I'm going to kind of discuss here, kind of talk about some channel updates, talk about some stuff that isn't going to get its own dedicated Toku Topics video, just basically either due to lack of time or what I think would be lack of interest for a particular video, or just things that I just didn't get to, essentially. And so that's kind of what I'm going to talk about here today. I'll probably go live for probably somewhere in the ballpark of an hour or so, I would imagine, or just kind of see, as things go here. And due to the fact that this will be archived for Patreon members and possibly eventually posted as a public live stream, basically I'm going to be talking as if I'm talking to more than just one person or sometimes nobody. And we're going to go with that. So while I literally have one person watching right now, which thank you, that is how that is going to go. So yeah, here it is, the February/March 2023 live stream. This is one that was supposed to happen last month. I just didn't get to it, unfortunately. I very, very, very much apologize for that. So I'll probably try to go a little longer than my January one here tonight to make up for that, to kind of be, both February and March. And there's going to be multiple different, multiple different exclusive videos this month to kind of also try to make up for that as well. There's already been one that's posted it was about 11 days ago, I think, is when I posted that one. And so I'm hoping to have at least one more, if not two more, out on the Patreon for the next week and a half or so that we have left of March, which is nuts that it's already that far into the month. I cannot believe that. That is crazy. But yeah, so basically, like I said, I'm going to start with some just discussions on channel stuff, as well as, of course, also some just general tokusatsu stuff we're going to talk about here. So last time I didn't have the foresight to include the slide that I put together as a tab on my laptop instead of my main computer, to where I could actually make it take up the full screen and you couldn't see all the slides preemptively and spoil them. So I fixed that though this time. This time we have, which actually I have it on the wrong slide. I should probably, I planned for this. I totally know what I'm doing. There we go. So my computer's just sitting on the floor here, because look at that. We have it all planned out this time. It's more organized. So yay. So we know what we're doing now. Yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and dive right into it here. And I'm going to close this tab, make this one a little bit bigger so I can see things. So we have dropped down to 0 viewers, which is perfectly fine. Let me just check Twitter real quick, see if anybody interacted with that tweet at all. It looks like some people did, but we have, oh, hey, we have a person watching again. So, yes, so we're going to go ahead and dive into it here. So obviously this is the Patreon member only live stream, as I've already kind of talked about here. The thumbnail has some things that I'm going to be discussing here tonight, as some new Ultraman news, Sentai news. Well, it's not new news. The point of this is that most of this is old news, but I just haven't shared my thoughts on a lot of it here. We're going to go ahead and start, though, as I'm going to have to keep, like, bending over. Actually, you know what? I was going to keep, like, bending down to grab the laptop, but I'm going to do that later. But hey, we have Caboose_ED in the chat here. How's it going? You are the only person watching right now from what I can tell. So thank you for tuning in. Hope you are doing well tonight. I am going to go ahead and start, though, before I dive into all the slides I was going to go with. Where did I put it? Here it is. So I, right before the stream, basically got done. Actually, let me make my screen all big again. Before the stream, I got done cleaning battery acid out of this thing. So this is what you get with the member-only live stream. It's just random. Hey, we have Brendan Overland in the chat as well. Hello, hello. Thank you for stopping in. So, I need to switch over to the YouTube app. Gotcha. But yes, basically these member-only live streams is just going to be kind of me rambling on or talking to everybody directly in the chat, as well as just random nonsense like this thing. So basically, I got this at Morphicon during the fall, and it didn't work because it had battery. I think because it had like a like Try-Me batteries pre-installed, and I was like, oh, those have absolutely corroded over like the 10 years that it's been since Megaforce, and because I bought it like sealed and packaged, so the batteries have probably been in there for 10 years. And so when I finally opened it up a couple like months ago, yeah, that thing was so corroded. But I finally cleaned it out, and I have a bunch of batteries here right now. So I'm going to test to see if this thing actually works. I'm not like too heartbroken if it doesn't, because I got it specifically to have the card that it came with for my card collection. So like I said, if it doesn't work, it's not the end of the world. In fact, I'm not even going to close the battery compartment because I'm going to put this thing back into storage. So let's test it. Does it work? That's a good sign. Yeah, it works. So that is good. So that's how I wanted to start the stream here tonight. Just playing with a 10-year-old Megaforce toy. Oh, almost dropped the battery. So, hey, we got Tyler Bazetsky. I suck at being punctual. Thank you for stopping in. So, yeah, exactly. You got to expect a 10-year-old toy to be all funky. Like, especially when you have, like, the Try-Me batteries in there. There's no way those things would not have corroded. So I expected nothing less, and I got exactly what I expected. So, but good to know that it still works, though. Because, like I said, even though I bought it specifically for the card, and I don't necessarily I don't really have a point to this. Like it's supposed to be like a costume piece, and it looks ridiculous on an adult because it's not an adult cosplay item. So it makes perfect sense. But it's kind of a cool like display thing if I have room to like mount it on a wall or something. But it's just gonna go in my Megaforce bin with everything else. So, but yep, there's the Ultra. I think it's like the Ultra Dragon armor or something along those lines. Something Megaforce Ghost Ager, I don't know. So, but yeah, that's that. So I'm glad that works. I'm going to go ahead and bring the slides back in here now that we have at least 2 people watching. So basically, like I said earlier, for anybody who wasn't here, I'm going to kind of start tonight with just kind of talking about some channel updates, some things that, just kind of share some behind the scenes things with Patreon members. And then we're going to kind of dive into just a bunch of different Toku news that's happened in the last like month or so, hence why it's February/March, that I just didn't cover on the channel. It's not going to get anything that I cover in this video is not going to get its own dedicated video. And so there are specific things that I haven't covered yet that I'm not going to cover tonight because I am going to be making a video on them, such as, what's a good example? Let's see. So, oh yeah, I can. Absolutely. I don't have to keep saying the underscore. That's my bad. Absolutely. You got it. So, but yeah, basically I was going to do a video on the Once and Always Ron Wasserman returning, that graphic that was posted a couple of days ago when somebody at Hasbro remembered the Twitter password. What else was there? I was going to do a video on that Premium Bandai leak list that's actually started to come true as of tonight. So those things are going to be happening there. So wait for videos on those specific things. So Tyler said, "You make me feel old. I was a senior when Megaforce was new. Load House of Bonds present to me was going on hiatus for after only 9 episodes." Yeah, that's how it used to go. I definitely remember those days. I mean, those I guess still kind of happen because we still had summer hiatuses, during Dino Fury and stuff like that, even when it was on Netflix. So actually, to me, since I've been watching Power Rangers live or as it's airing only since Samurai, I've only ever known the era of the summer hiatus. So to me, Power Rangers has always been a show that's aired in just like nine to 11 episode chunks. Or usually, well, I guess it's usually like 9 and then like 12. That's not how numbers work. 9 and 13, because that you always have to include the holiday specials. Is 9 plus 13? That's 22, right? I can do basic math, I think. So sure, I'll go with that. But yeah, I've only ever known the franchise as that sort of airing schedule kind of thing. So to me, that's just how it has always been. I know it's not. Like I know, like back then, in the Disney era, Saban era. Well, Saban era aired like daily, and then the Disney era aired like February to November, something like that, kind of all the way through. So kind of like how the Neo Saban and Hasbro eras have, but like not really with the gap and kind of thing. So bottom line, I missed 32 to 38 episode seasons of Power Rangers. I think that was definitely a very good time, but it's just not what we have anymore. I'm perfectly fine with like Cosmic Fury having only 10 episodes this year because I'm very interested to see how they're going to deal with that. And we kind of have, I wouldn't say that we have like a lot of Power Rangers to hold us over till then, but we have at least like the once and always special and everything. So it doesn't feel like it's going to be as, bad of a drought as it really is going to be. So, there's that at least kind of keep some interest going with the franchise while we still don't really have any episodes for like nearly a year from the end of season 2 to Cosmic Fury. So interesting times for sure. So, but let's go ahead and dive into it here with some channel updates. So I'm going to go ahead and grab the laptop off the floor so that way I can just, click the slides easier, just having it sit on my lap here. So did that work? I think there's a bit of a delay in terms of when I click the slides to when it actually shows up on the screen, because I'm still just seeing the Patreon for only live stream slide. And that's not the slide that I have. So, oh, there it is. Wow, that was a delay. Hopefully it doesn't keep doing that all nights. But yeah, I've already been talking a while. So, water break, it's important. So yes, I'm going to go ahead and start here with some channel updates with Toku Toy Line's Super Mega Force Ranger keys, which is still not out. So I've been wanting it to be out for a very long amount of time. In fact, I talked about this at my last Patreon live stream back in January, which should be archived on here somewhere on the Patreon page if anybody's interested in that one, because I know there's been a lot of new patrons since the last one. So if anybody's interested in that one, it's there. I'm also going to be probably posting it publicly now that it's been like 2 months. So that'll probably just go up as a public video probably sometime in the next week or so, if anybody's interested in there. I was kind of hesitant about it because it's going to announce a series that I still haven't made yet, that I'm still trying to do. And hey, we have Pyramidas in the chat. Welcome. Thank you for stopping in. Look at this. We got 3 people watching. This is the most we've ever had. So thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in here for this stream. But yeah, Super Mega Force Ranger keys, Toku Toy Lines. It's still not out. It's closer to being out than it was the last time I talked about it on one of these streams. But these videos just take me an astronomically long amount of time to edit, and I just don't have the time to do it between trying to make the 4 videos a week that I make every week at the bare minimum for the channel, and of course school obligations that really took up a lot of my time in February. Hence why I didn't actually end up doing one of these streams in February like I was supposed to. And so lots and lots of things have been making this one take a very long time to be done. So will it be done by the next time? I certainly hope so. So if anybody's interested as well, I have posted, I'm pretty sure I made this available to anybody $2 and above. I'm pretty confident. But I've posted the first 7 minutes of this video on Patreon because I have, at this point, I think I've edited about 12 to 13-ish minutes of it or so. It's probably going to end up being about 30 to 40 minutes. Something like that. So I know I have like 56 minutes, I think, left in the voiceover to edit. but it's not going to be 56 more additional minutes to the video because I stutter and like mess up the reading like 100 times. So I'll probably add at 56 minutes of VO footage. There's probably like 25 minutes of usable VO in there, so or voiceover stuff. So that will be fun. So that's kind of the big thing that's just taking so long. So I would like to say that this video will be out by the end of March. That's kind of always been my original goal was like January or December, and that obviously didn't happen. But I'm hoping maybe because after this stream actually I'm going to be recording some more videos tonight. I'm going to probably be up most of the night, and I was going to record Monday's video and Wednesday's video, and then I'm recording Friday's video tomorrow when I go back to the dorm at the end of my spring break. So that should have this week pretty locked in pretty quickly. So I might be able to try to get some actual editing time in on this video this week. So we will see. So we'll see how that goes. But kind of reading the chat here because I definitely do want to obviously focus on the chat as well. Tyler said, yes, the Ranger keys. I remember when I was collecting these and then I got the first Ninja Storm one. Dustin kept flipping up and I was like, F this and stopped. Yeah. I talked in the video too. Those keys hinges were terrible. So bad. I have this Super Mega Force red one. It's not the first American Ranger key that I got, but it's the one. It was the translucent one that came with the legendary Megazord. That hinge has been so destroyed, and I didn't even use that key that much. I feel. I mean, when Super Mega Force was airing, I was 13 years old, so like I was past the age of like breaking my toys. I would say. So I wasn't like messing around with it too badly, but like the hinge is destroyed, and I cannot. It will not even stay in Ranger mode anymore at all. It's a permanent key at this point. So I definitely kind of despise the hinges on these keys. That's why I do not love them as much as I do the Bandai Japan keys, because they were cool. And there's definitely some aspects to them that I really do like. I think Bandai America did a very good job with these keys overall. But there's some shortcomings with them that I definitely am going to mention. But there is that. So then Caboose said, take your time, man. I know you got a life, but I know you can cook up something cool and informative. And same man, my side project, I stutter stammer so bad. Yeah, I know, right? I can't talk like at all, as I say, as I've been talking for like 17 minutes straight. But yeah, every time I'm like, well, it's especially with scripted content, because like Lightning Storm and a vast majority of my videos are not scripted. There's like bullet points that I always write out for me to hit. And I've said this before, I think in other live streams or whatever, but 9 times out of 10, whenever you see a picture up on the screen, like while I'm talking, it's because I'm covering a cut. Because I know YouTubers put jump cuts in their edits all the time, and I do that sometimes when I feel like it's when the video is right for it. But I personally don't like jump cuts, and that could just be my brain saying that to me, because since I'm a film major at college, I'm kind of trained to like not use jump cuts in film editing. So I feel like that kind of then translates to me not wanting to use it with video content creation editing. But so I just don't like them. So I always try to cover them up with cuts, but the problem is, or with pictures. But the problem is that there's a lot of times where I just kind of talk and then just like peter out and don't know what's happened, like don't know what I'm saying, or stumble over my words or something. And especially with scripted content, I'm sitting here like thinking about like the popping noises that my mouth is making, or like sound all around me, or like trying to get the lines right, and I mess up so better. Exactly, yeah. As Caboose said, you want it to flow better. Exactly. So it's just one of those things where like anytime I read a scripted content video, more than likely the script or the actual like audio file that I get is going to be double the length of the actual video, so, because of how many times I'm going to screw it up while reading it. So that's how it goes. And then while I was saying all that, Static Thunder joined. So what's up? What is up? Thank you for stopping in. Now we got 4 people watching. So nice little group here. Actually, I think that's what the cool thing about these streams are, is that you can have just a little group of people who want to stop in. Kind of that was the point of the Patreon streams, to kind of give some more behind the scenes stuff. Like I'm doing right now. I kind of just dive into some stuff that isn't going to get videos, and also just kind of have a little bit more of a personal, conversation with, Patreon members, which I think is really cool. And I cannot thank you guys enough for being Patreon members. I think that is really, really cool that you guys, were interested in my content enough to become a member. It really does mean a lot to me. So thank you, all of you guys, and everybody who's not even watching, who might watch this archived later. Just thank you. It really does mean a lot that people like the content enough to want to pay for it. So thank you. And as you said, Static, we can have a party. Exactly. this is our little Toku Topics party here on a Saturday night. So I definitely am going to say that doing these streams on Saturday nights is definitely seeming to be more popular. I guess popular would be the right word, but a better idea than when I did it on a Monday night back in January, which of course that makes logical sense that a weekend night would be better for it. And it just worked out that I was able to do one here during my spring break because it's more tricky doing it up in the dorm because a lot of times my friends want to do stuff over the weekends, or my friends are being loud, or my roommates are being loud through the walls or something like that. Or also this year they put my dorm in the room that's like I have a perfect view of the highway outside, so the highway makes cameo noise appearances in nearly all of my videos, and it drives me insane. So that's always fun. So it's nice to just be here in the nice quiet home on a Saturday night here to do this here. So I will try to keep doing these streams more on Saturday nights as I can, especially once graduation happens and everything like that, and I'll be home because that's only like 7-8 weeks away from now, or 8 weeks away from now, which is terrifying, but also exciting in its own right. So going forward, I'll probably be able to have these more on Saturday nights more often than not. So that is that. So let's see. What was I going to talk about next? I'm going to drink some water, though. That's what I'm going to do next. Because it is a lot of talking. So let's see. So I think that's pretty much everything I wanted to say with Super Mega Force Ranger Keys. The edit is going well. Like I said, the first 7 minutes are up on Patreon right now. If anybody wants to watch it, that's another thing too. I also posted those 7 minutes for people to like give me feedback or anything. If anybody wanted to do that, kind of just see how the video is coming along. I would say that those 7 minutes are pretty locked in right now, but since the edit is still ongoing, it's obviously I can still change some things. I tweak some things if they're not working or whatever it may be. So the goal is to, I was going to say, try to get this out by the end of March, but I cannot promise that. So maybe by the end of April, I hope. I really, really hope. I want this video out. I think it's going to do well. I think people are going to like it. Toku Toy Lines has been a very successful series on the channel so far. And I have like literally, I'm not going to spoil them yet, but I have like the next 6 ideas already lined up for this series. And I really want to get going on those. But I keep telling myself I can't even start the scripting process for those until I finally get this one out the door. So I got to do it. I got to get it done. But next up, what did I put next? Yeah, that's the other thing. So comic catch-up. So this is another one that has been taking me 100 years. It's less further along than Super Mega Force Ranger Keys is, unfortunately. But this is something that I really, really want to bring to the channel. I talked about this in the last stream, but have not been able to actually make it a thing yet. And that is a new series that I want to do. So, but as Kabu said, hey man, I got to be honest with you. And oh, wow, I can't even talk. Hey man, I got to be honest with you, D, and a bunch of the Toku photo bows inspired me to do content outside of Rider Room skits. Used to do it's not going to be super soon, but you all inspire me, man. Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm glad that this content, because I mean that's how I started. I was inspired by numerous different content creators like 10 years ago. So like MMPR Toys, Shukwin Shinobi, Dawson Rider, all of the anybody you could think of basically with like that is a name in the Power Rangers content community. They always inspired me. And then I finally, decided to make my own content and people like it. And now I'm inspiring other people, which I think is just really, really cool. I love that a lot, that you can kind of just have this always continuing sort of circle or kind of multi-generation thing. Actually, at this point of, content creators in the fandom, I think that is a really, really cool thing that we have here as a community. That, I think pretty much any, kind of YouTube community can kind of have that sort of thing. But with the Power Rangers community, since it's always been a relatively small community, it feels more personal when you can actually have like a smaller group of influencers or a smaller group of inspirations to kind of have other people then base their own content off of that. I think that is super, super cool. So thank you. It really does mean a lot to me that I inspire you and everybody else inspires you as well to make content, because it's cool. It's cool being able to express your love and your interest for this franchise and for this genre via content creation. And I think it's been such a blessing that I'm able to do that for everybody. So let's keep talking about some content. So Comic Catch Up is a series that I have talked about not much on the channel because I haven't like made the formal announcement for it. Let's see, the only times that I mentioned it, because I'm trying not to mention it. So I mentioned it kind of in my Patreon announcement video back in January. The name has been on Patreon this entire time. If anybody looks at I think it's the $3 tier, when you get this, the bonus videos and the live streams and everything, I'm pretty sure that when that happens, there's Comic Catch Up listed as like a series name in there, I'm pretty sure. And I've never done an episode of Comic Catch Up because I wouldn't say necessarily big plans for this series, but I have some plans for the series that I really want to bring to life in the way that I want, in the way that I'm envisioning it. And I just do not have the time to do that at all. So I've started the script for this thing, or for the first episode of this thing, back in like late January. And I've been kind of just hoping that I could finally get it going. I definitely cannot promise this. Well, 100% it's not happening in March. I would say there's at least like a solid like 60% chance that it won't happen in April either. But by the summer, I definitely hope to have this series out. I'm not really going to say too much about what it is. You can probably imply at least part of what it is based off of the name, and also based off the fact that I have been behind on the Power Rangers comics from Boom Studios since 2018's Shattered Grid. So, as Tyler just chimed in, don't feel bad. I haven't read a single MMPR comic since MMPR 40. Exactly. There's just been so many. I have nearly all of them, though. I collect them in the background. I just never talk about them. There's one right here, actually. I just bought this the other day. It's some variant cover. I don't even know what issue this is. Oh, wait. It says it right here. So it's Ninja Turtles 2, issue 1. So this is one of the variant covers for that. So, like, I collect the comics in the background, and I have every single one of the trade paperbacks. I just don't read them. And I really do need to read them, and I wanted to make content out of actually reading them finally. So this is a series that I hope to have more details on, hopefully by the next stream, hopefully by the April Patreon stream, I'll have more details for this. Who knows? But basically, that is a series that I want to do on the channel. I just don't know when it's going to happen, but I'm going to bring it up here again now because I need some inspiration. I need some, I need motivation to be like, all right, Josh, get going on it, make it happen. But speaking of comics, though, there is this slide, which is the first thing that I'm not going to be making a dedicated video on, but just wanted to talk about kind of very briefly here with the whole kind of news catch-up aspect of this stream here. And as Caboose said, I got all the Helmet TMNT variants, so I can hopefully frame them when the series is over. Yeah, those are so good. You can actually see one of those kind of helmet variants there from Goni Montez. That art is incredible. I love the helmet like holding in the front art. I love that Boom keeps getting him to do like art like for the Ninja Turtle ones, or like because he did all of Mighty Morphin. I know he did. I think did he do Solar Ranger? No. Ranger Slayer was the one that was on the Beyond the Grid hardcover. He did Omega Red for the Necessary Evil hardcover. He's doing this one for this comic variant cover of this upcoming issue. I love it. I love it so much. It's just such a pretty art style. And it's been also one of the most long-lasting art styles for the comics because our cover series, not really art style, but well, I mean, I guess, but it's like the original set of variants, or one of the original sets of variants for issue 1, I think, or issue 0, it might have been. One of the first issues was when he did the original 6 Rangers and then did white eventually with other stuff and everything. Armored Red, he did Armored Pink, I think, Armored Black. There's tons of these different helmet variant covers that he's done. And as the chat's saying with Tyler and Caboose here, the covers do go for a lot, and they're hard to find, and there's so many of them out there. But Tyler said he had his White Ranger one signed by JDF. Oh man, dang, that sucks. Well, that doesn't suck. That's cool, but that sucks that he won't be able to sign any more covers like this, especially if like new Drac and stuff happen and everything like that. Because like, yeah, that's depressing. But besides that, I love these covers. I like that they're continuing, and I also like that we're going to get to see this Ranger Slayer form again, which I never read the comic that it was in. Speaking back to comic catch-up stuff, I have it. I have Drac and New Dawn's trade paperback, which has. I'm pretty sure it has her what am I talking about? It has her one shot, the thing that introduced to this form in that comic there. So I just haven't read it yet, but hopefully, and I'm not really going to be talking a lot of like lightning collection stuff or anything on here because I do that way more than I need to on the main channel. But I genuinely don't know, but there are 4 listings that I've seen for upcoming Boom Studios related figures that are not the Omega Rangers. That's its own dedicated 4-pack that they're making. I don't know what 4 figures those are, but I really, really hope that they are timed or are some kind of releases in relation to this, and that we could get this Queen. I think it was called Queen Ranger Slayer form, or we can get this new, I'm assuming, Dark Spectre influenced Draken form or something. I think actually that form has been in the comics already. I think. I don't know the context for it because, once again, behind. But I would like to see more Boom Studio Comics figures out there because there's so many different things that they could do. And like Caboose just said, I hope we see Ranger X Casey, as do I. The second set of Ninja Turtle ones are just like the perfect candidates for Lightning Collection figures because for the most part, you have to do a little bit of remolding, but you pretty much just have to do a majority repainting on those and then also make Casey. I would love to see it. I really, really hope that in 2024 we could get figures like that, but who knows? I genuinely do not know at this point what they have planned necessarily. It's been more difficult recently trying to figure out what the Lightning Collection's got going on out there. So, and like I said, not really the point of this stream, but basically, because I never said what this is, it's on the screen. This is the next issue of Power Rangers Unlimited, which is kind of sort of a series in of itself. It's these like series of one shots that they release every couple months or so. I think we've been getting them since 2021, I want to say, because we had like that. We have how many have we had? I think this is the 5th one. So we've had like the Zane and Andros one, we had the Dark Ranger one, we had the Phantom Ranger one, we had the Astronomer one. A lot of them have been in space themed, and then we had this one. And which seems to still be in space themed in some regard because we have Dark Spectre back there behind Draken on this, which is this is the main cover by Dan Mora, which is another fantastic artist for the comics who's done a lot of stuff as well. So that's always really cool to see. Yeah, Dan Mora and Goni Montez, and every time we get them to come in to do Boom Studios art, it's always just absolutely gorgeous. So this actually leaked a little while ago, or at least the existence of this issue did, because there was that one listing on Amazon for the next trade paperback of Unlimited issues. I don't remember what else I had listed in there, but the coinless one was listed in there. So that's how I'm going to get it. I'm not going to buy this like in its own individual thing. I'll just wait for that paperback version of it to come out this fall. But yeah, I mean, I'll get to it eventually. It definitely does seem to be a sequel or a follow-up at least to Draken New Dawn, I believe, just kind of based off of what these covers are showing. I know that that wasn't the most popular comic series from the kind of just public reception that I've seen of that. So hopefully if, people are not satisfied with this or with that, hopefully this can kind of help fix people's issues with that series and what have you with that. But it does come out in June, if I remember correctly, this particular issue of Unlimited. And I think it looks pretty cool. So that is kind of the first news thing that I wanted to talk about in terms of kind of catching up on some news. But I think, is that all I had for Power Rangers? Oh, no, it's not. So we actually are going to be talking about JDF. I forgot that I included this here because they have set a theatrical release date for Legend of the White Dragon, which I know is not particularly or not specifically Power Rangers. And I'm kind of 50-50 on if it's even something that I would actually focus on or do a video on for the channel, which is especially why it's being included here in this Patreon stream to talk about the theatrical release that it's getting. But before I talk about it some more, do you want to read the newest comment here from Caboose? I don't expect them to, but I hope that the comics give other seasons love too. At least give us origins or side contents with pre-Disney post Zordon teams. Exactly. Like I want comics so bad. Like I want a comic, and I did a video on this last summer about like the different time periods of Power Rangers that I really want the comics to focus on. And one of those particular periods that I really want to know more about in the lore is like the formation of Lightspeed, because I've always liked the idea, which has not been like directly established in canon. I think this was actually like an idea that Linkara had, I think, in like History of Power Rangers like 10 years ago. But I really, really want to see, or the kind of idea or the fan theories that like after Countdown to Destruction, and the Earth kind of saw what was out there in the universe. And then we took a year off from focusing on Earth because we had Lost Galaxy, which wasn't really on Earth. I like to think that in that time frame is when like Earth was developing Lightspeed. And I want to see that, and maybe Lightspeed obviously was probably around for longer than a year, but I really, really want to see that time frame of the formation of Lightspeed that we never got to see. Where did it come from? Was it established because of, what Power Rangers have done on Earth? And you could even probably connect it back to like Nasada stuff with like the Solar Zord and all that kind of thing, and like because there was like space-ish vehicles in Lightspeed at times, and I think it'd be really cool to like kind of connect it back as sort of a It would be kind of like what the comics have done with like Grace and Promethea as kind of being the origin story for Terra Venture. And they would probably just be kind of a retread of that. You could even connect it back to Promethea. It could be like, the amount of it that stayed behind on Earth or something became Lightspeed. But I've always really liked the idea that like there's always been kind of one big organization in Power Rangers that's just sort of kind of evolved. It's like Lightspeed becomes like SPD, that becomes like, what was it, like becomes like Time Force later on, or there's a lot, and there's obviously like other side organizations like Grid Battle Force and there's other ones that I can't think of. I mean, that's kind of the big other one, I suppose, but not. I mean, it's not really an organization, but then you have like alternate dimensions where you have like Dr. K and Alphabet Soup and all that kind of nonsense and all that kind of stuff. But so many different things that they could explore. That like I love the comics, even though I'm behind on them. I love the comics so much of what they do in terms of expanding the canon and expanding the lore. And there's just but they focused so much on just the Mighty Morphin team and those 3 specific seasons, which I get why. Of course, I totally understand why that's the case, but there's so much they can explore. I think they've done a pretty good job from what I've seen, just kind of seeing the comics from kind of in the background as people are talking about them. It seems like they've done a pretty cool job kind of giving in space characters some more lore, but still connecting it to the Mighty Morphin stuff, which is fine if that's how you have to do things to kind of get other seasons some time in the spotlight. I'm all for it, but I just want to see some other seasons get some time in the spotlight. But like, there's so many different cool opportunities there. But focusing back to what I was going to talk about here, even though I could definitely do a side tangent on the comics for a multitude of time. Maybe if I finally get comic catch up going, we can actually have that very long tangent that I could go on about it. But they did set the release date for a theatrical release of Legend of the White Dragon, which honestly, I wasn't necessarily expecting a theatrical release for this film. I assume this will probably be one of those, like, what do they call, like Fathom event things, kind of like how Shin Ultraman was or something like that, where it's probably going to be like a very limited theatrical window. Because they did set it for, Labor Day weekend in September of this year. So it would probably like only be like the week of that, or maybe even just the weekend of that. But I will probably see it. I'm conflicted because like I remember, and I don't mean to like trash talk the film or anything, but I remember like years ago when like the original Kickstarter was a thing and it failed, and then they did the second Kickstarter, and like people were always kind of always sort of trashy on this film. And then, of course, I totally get why. There's, the tide had kind of turned with that, after the unfortunate passing of JDF. And I totally understand and myself want to see what he made for this, because he definitely did seem to really, really be passionate about this project. But then, and it's not obviously to any fault of JDF, but then I forget his name. But the guy who I think was the director or something, whoever's been posting on their social media, has just been posting really weird things recently about things, kind of putting words in JDF's out of his mouth, kind of saying like, oh yeah, JDF actually hated Lord Draken and all this other stuff. That's just kind of like, it makes me not want to support this project, because like I just feel like it's kind of weird to sort of be like trying to drum up excitement for this by like saying things that like maybe JDF did believe those certain things. We really have no way of knowing for sure what his thoughts were certain things. But yeah, like as Tyler just said, like I don't know, Bat in the Sun's interview rubbed me the wrong way about it. Yeah, as Kubi's saying too, they've been kind of dickish lately. Yeah, it's just like it makes me hesitant. It makes me kind of like I want to see JDF's performance in this. I want to see what he really did seem to have a lot of passion for this, like a ton of passion for this, and so I want to see what they were cooking up with this. But like I said, it just kind of feels a little conflicting. I will probably watch it at some point. Will I actually support its theatrical release? I don't know. It's just it's a weird thing to me. But we'll kind of just wait and see with it. That's why I didn't want to cover it in its own video or anything like that, and why it's being put into the Patreon stream, because I did want to talk about it, because I know some people were talking about it. But so I kind of wanted to gauge some interest about should I do a video about this in September? Should I do like a thoughts on the film thing? Or I would never do like news videos about it or anything like that. I would rather focus on actual Power Rangers, since this is not. But obviously there are connections there and such like that. So like I probably, obviously, I would never make like content like waiting for it, but maybe someday I would do a video talking about my thoughts on it or something like that. But yeah, and as you know, as Tyler was saying in the chat, like I'll wait for it to stream. It's just kind of the interview was disrespectful. Like, yeah, I mean, so many different things. And also, I want to make sure that I didn't forget to mention Static Thunder's comments here. Going back to the comic discussion for a second, explanation on how evil survived after Countdown to Destruction. I'd love to see a comic series called Reformation of Evil. I read that kind of all jittery. I'd love to see a comic series called Reformation of Evil or something, and each issue goes over new villains. Yeah, that would be really, 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 really cool. But yeah, as Scooby said, they were really cool when they did Bat in the Sun. I agree. Like the Bat in the Sun stuff was really fun. I really liked, like, I loved when like Bat in the Sun did the because I'm pretty sure they did it, the promotional video with the Ryu and Chun-Li Rangers for the Street Fighter collaboration with Legacy Wars. That was awesome. I love all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I don't know. This is just kind of a thing that is a thing. And I guess we'll see how it pans out. And I guess also we'll see, you know, how do the people behind the film continue to post on social media for the next 6 months before this movie actually does come out, because that will probably also be a, you know, deciding factor in whether or not I want to financially support it by a theatrical release. You know, I don't know. We'll see. So that is that with the Legend of the White Dragon. I think what I have next here. Yeah, plushes. So I wanted to talk about some Sentai Rider and Ultraman stuff here as well. So that might not be everybody's cup of tea for, you know, everybody in the chat here, and we can kind of blast through it as well if you guys are not super interested in it. But these are some things that I probably should have done a video on, but I just got so busy that it just never ended up happening, and it's just not gonna end up happening because the news is so old at this point that there's no point in doing a video on it, because in a couple weeks, or I guess really a couple months or whatever, we're going to just see all of it like officially. But that is the second quarter toy listings for Kinoger. So my Kinoger video that I posted on Friday, my first episode review, is doing pretty moderately okay. So it's doing about how I expected it to do. Sentai videos don't always do, you know, incredibly well on the channel, even though I do very much like talking about Sentai stuff as well. But this happened a while ago. I'm pretty sure this was the morning, yeah, it was, right? It was the morning after, I think, the press conference, or no, wait, I think it was the toy listings was the morning after the or were they both? It was very soon after the press conference. We got the leaked photo of this plush lineup, which is funny because actually like an hour or so ago, I saw that they had shown off the other 5 in this catalog, but obviously not Silver because they haven't officially revealed this suit yet. But this is, was it Okuagaga? I messed that up. All right. It was like Ukuagata Oger, Okuagata Oger. I think it's like Okuagata Oger because it's like another Keen title. It's the Keen. It's the Keen from Red's Country. He's going to be Silver pretty soon. I'm not sure exactly what episode this is supposed to debut in, but this is not our 6th Ranger. That's what we're going to talk about in a second here with the toy listings that I also didn't make a video on. But basically, this is going to be his form. So he'll be an evil ranger for probably a period of time. I mean, maybe he'll stay permanently evil. I could also maybe see him join the team or something. But as you can see, the suit, well, you can barely see it. It's just, well, because there's a big thing over it, but you can kind of infer what it's going to be based off of just what it looks like. But essentially, it's just red suit, kind of basically desaturated, essentially, where it's just all the red is silver, but it's still a Kuwagata. It's still very similar to that. As Kubis mentioned, maybe he'll use an imitation sword in the silver Kuwagata as an evil copy form or something. Yeah, we did see, I believe it was in tonight's episode because of the preview images from a week ago, that we got to see like our first look at his sword it's going to presumably use to become this form. And it looked basically like a kind of less complete version of like the main Oger caliber, where it was like, it looked like it was like missing some of the other insects on there, which makes sense for something like this. So I love Silver Rangers. I think the Kinoger suits look really, really cool. And I've been liking this show a lot so far. So I'm really excited to see this character, you know, development pan out and actually see it in the show like this. So that, I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm definitely looking forward to seeing Okuagata Oger in the show. So as Static Thunder said, evil bop it, activate, exactly. So I think it will be fun. I am already anticipating, you know, a showdown between Red and Silver. Because that's obviously what the show is going to have. I hope that this is a character that stays evil for a particular amount of time. I mean, if he stayed evil for like the whole show, it's like maybe the final battle or something, I think that would be cool. But also, I think it would just be kind of neat to have like this constant rival ranger for the majority of the show. I guess kind of like Stay Caesar, where he was, because he was introduced pretty early on, like episode like 7. He didn't have like a full redemption to like episode was like 46 or 7 or something for Zenkaiger that he was like fully redeemed. So if we had something like that again, I think it'd be kind of cool. I also think it's neat that while I love Purple Rangers, I think it's neat that we don't have a third rival Purple Ranger in a row after Stay Caesar and Dom Arasame and now this, because we have Purple on the main team this time. So always down for more Silver Rangers. I'm also very happy that means that we can't have Silver be our 6th Ranger color, because while I definitely love Silver Rangers, I'm getting sick of them always being the default color of 6 Rangers besides gold. So I'm happy to see that Silver is going to be this not 6 Ranger extra hero type of Ranger here that I think is going to be really cool. But speaking of Kinoger stuff, so this happened a while ago as well. This was all the listings for the second quarter, which in the past, I most certainly would have done a video on this. And like I said, I probably should have. I did listings on the first quarter listings and stuff. But clearly it wasn't a very desired video because nobody asked where a video about it was. So here it is. So this is the one thing. And it's also possible that even if I don't upload the entire stream as public or make it public, I might just like cut sections out and kind of use them as like, oh, hey, this was like my recording for this video. So like, potentially I could post like this segment about whatever I'm about to talk about here as my actual video on the second quarter Kinoju stuff. But yeah, this is our 6 Ranger stuff. So we had this leaked back in, I believe it was February, but we know the color of our 6 Ranger. So unfortunately, Static Thunder, we do not have a 6th Ranger that is orange, unfortunately. I don't think the color is listed here at all. I'm pretty sure it is not, but we do have the color, which actually I'll pull up. There's a particular tweet that I'm going to pull up actually to have. I just saw a cute Chainsaw Man theme for God. Now the Chainsaw Man theme is just playing in my head. I love Chainsaw Man so much. Yeah, that's gonna be stuck in my head the rest of the nights. But yeah, we have the listings for the second quarter stuff. So some of this actually has already gone up for pre-order, and that is the 3 villain vinyls that are listed as April 2023. So right under the Okuwagata Oger stuff. Here we go. The Des Narak, the 8th Sentai Hero Vinyl Series figure, the Kami Jim Sentai Hero Vinyl Series figure, and the Sanagim Sentai Hero Vinyl Series figure. So that is going to be, those are already up for pre-order actually, and those are vinyl figures of the main bad guy, that one general dude, and the foot soldier dudes. All the technical terms. So we've already seen all those villains. They're going to get little vinyl figures to go with the Ranger ones as well, which is really cool. Because the last time we got vinyl figures for the villains in like the main line, I'm pretty sure it was Tokuger when we got General Swartz and the whatever those were called in the show. I can't think of what they were called. Crows? That's not right. The guys with the top hats from the Shadow Line, whatever those guys were called. But we haven't had vinyls for villains in a very long time, so that is going to be a thing. Now, we also, of course, have, I skipped past it, but we have the Action Hero and the Sentai Vinyl Series figure for Ukuwagata Oger. So that is our Silver Ranger that we just took a look at in the last slide. So that one is going to get, he is going to get a vinyl and a figure. Now, he's also, I'm presumably he's going to get a Yudo series figure as well, the Candy Toy figures in like May. So that's how I'm going to get a figure of him. But thankfully, they are releasing a figure of him in the line. And then, of course, we have all of our 6 Ranger stuff, which we don't have an official name for this guy yet. But it's likely that this is going to be very similar. His name is probably going to be something along the lines of, what is this? Is the name for Spider on here somewhere? It's Kumo is the name for Spider, I think. Something like that. But it's probably going to be something like along the lines of like Kumo Oger or something, because he's a spider. He's a spider-themed 6 Ranger. So we have his transformation sword, his gun, his roleplay sets, which would be the sword and the gun together, his action hero figure, his vinyl figure, his mecha, two additional auxiliary mechas that I'm presuming can obviously combine with his probably, because there's going to be a combo set of all of them, and then the mini plus set as well for that as well, as I just said, as that as well, like 2 times in a row. So that is all, of course, going to be out in the typical Sentai second quarter toy listing fashion. of May and June of 2023. So cool there. I am going to quickly here pull up the one tweet that was made about the Six Ranger specifically that I should have probably included in this thing, and I forgot to do that. So that would be the tweet about the Six Ranger, as I'm stalling to find it. But we had the listings for him a while, or the rumors for him, what his suit looks like, a while ago. And Legion of Boom posted kind of a recap of it like yesterday. But let me tell you, they have tweeted a lot in the last like 24 hours. So all right, I think I got it. So let's share the screen again. So yeah, so we had Six Ranger details. The Ranger is white with a spider motif. Secondary color is black with a gold chest plate, coattails instead of a mantle. His changer is a dagger with a key, and his secondary weapon is a bug spray gun. So I love all of this. So I love a white Six Ranger. We haven't had that since, you can make the argument for Geki Chopper, but officially you haven't had it since Deca Break in Deca Ranger. So it's been 20 years since we've had that as a Six Ranger. Then we have black is pretty cool as the secondary color. I think, well, black and white Ranger is going to just look really cool. A lot of people have been posting like the Negative Zone Spider-Man or the Future Foundation Spider-Man Marvel Legends figures is kind of like what this would kind of look like, which makes logical sense. So he'll have a gold chest plate, which is probably just kind of their way of still getting that typical Six Ranger color in there of gold or silver. I'm good with that, but with him not being with gold not being his primary color, I think that's really awesome. So the mantle, or having coattails instead of a mantle, that's cool. Helps distinguish him a little bit from, the regular Rangers. We get a key. This is not a Ranger key, unfortunately, or I guess fortunately for my wallets, but yes, he is going to have a key that I think, what was it? Somebody said in the original leaks, it was like a Rukendo. Is that what I'm thinking of correctly? Looking kind of key. So he's going to have some sort of dagger transformation device that takes some sort of key or something, but not a Ranger key, which would have been really cool. And then we have a bug spray gun weapon, which I'm all here for. This sounds awesome. So I am so down for this. I cannot wait to see how all this is going to look, because obviously based off the toy listings, he should probably be debuting in about 2 months or so on Keynote, or probably, somewhere around the 10th to 15th episode range, something like that. I want to say we would last year Don Goku premiered kind of at the more later time for Six Rangers, kind of the more typical, or kind of the older typical Sentai debut for Six Rangers, which was like around 15 to 17. And then in the past, we've had Six Rangers by like episode like 10 or something. Because I mean, we got 2 Kaiser in what, episode 8 or 9 of Zenkaiger, and I think that's too early. Way too early for a Six Ranger debut. I like that debut around episode 15 to 17 range. That feels just a little bit better. So hopefully, based off the toy listings, that's hopefully what we're going to actually be getting, because 2 Kaiser stuff came out in like April, but Don Goku stuff came out in like that May-June timeframe that this guy's going to have. So definitely very excited for that. I am good with that being the case there for this guy. And we will go back to the slide presentation here. But yeah, I'm down. I think that sounds really cool. Like I said, like the white color. Spiders are neat. Definitely good with that. As Static Thunder said here, the Arbiter of Death, fear him, Spider-Man. So there's that. I can see the Spider-Man joke tweaks are coming. Oh yeah, there's already been a ton of them out there ever since the original leaks happened with this. And they're going to just, of course, continue to happen for a very long time as we get this guy here. But for a show that I'm already really enjoying, I love those Six Ranger leaks for this, so I'm just very hyped. And all of this stuff is confirmed, by the way, because as you can see here, this is from a Reddit post that compiled all this together. But all of these links here are, well, they're all links. So if you click on them, they take you to Toku Collectibles pre-order pages. So this is the confirmed toy list. This is not a rumor for this. The stuff I just read technically is a rumor, but it comes from people who posted this stuff. So like, that is what we can expect. We can expect the changer to be the dagger with the key. We can expect the white color scheme, the gold armor, the black, accents, that kind of thing. So, but all the stuff here officially is happening. Like, we're getting those specific mechas. We're getting figures for Oku, Okada, Oger, all that kind of stuff there. So I'm very excited to see all of it here, which we'll probably start seeing in about 2 months or so. We'll see the Okuagata Oger stuff earlier because that stuff has an April release date. So I guess that kind of gives you an idea. Actually, that seems like what's probably going to happen. They're probably going to debut Okuagata Oger around probably the episode like 8 or 9 mark, kind of like where a Q Kaiser, debuted kind of thing. And then they'll probably save, obviously, what I'm just going to tentatively call like Kumo Oger. I think that's the word for spider, being kind of around 15 to 17. So perfect. It all sounds great. I cannot wait to see where the show is going to go with all this stuff. And I am all here. And as Static Thunder said, to be honest, I missed having official 7th Rangers too. Haven't had another of those in a bit. That's true. I mean, technically, you could make the argument for like Stacy's being like an official 7th, but like it took them a while to get there. Don Brothers technically has a 7th. Well, Don Brothers technically has a 7th with Don Torbolt because I consider the two of them separate Rangers. That's kind of a iffy thing. But like, who else would have had like an official 7th? I guess kind of Juoger did with like Jua Bird, kind of. Q Ranger doesn't really count. Guy Soul, I guess, for Resoldier, but that was very brief. So yeah, I know what you're saying though. Like it's been a while since we've had like an official 7th, like a Deca Master and Deca Ranger sort of thing. Or what's another good example of like a long-lasting 7th Ranger? I guess Go Andre with the Go on Wings or something like that. So I guess we don't really have it too terribly often, but yeah, I don't know. I would like to see it too. So I mean, depending on I guess how evil or how long Okuagata Oger is going to be evil, which like I said earlier, I hope is a decent amount of time, I could maybe see that kind of being our official 7th. It's going to be one of those funny things where everybody's going to call the 6th Ranger, for lack of a better word right now, because we don't have his official name, the 6th Ranger, but he won't be technically because we obviously know Okuagata Oger is debuting first. So he will already be our 7th debuted Ranger, but he'll always be referred to as the 6th. So that's just how we go with this. Because I mean, even Toku Collectibles has this literally listed as like 6th Ranger gun, 6th Ranger roleplay set, all that kind of stuff. So like, because we just don't have his name, and it's just easier to call him a 6th Ranger until we actually know what the name is. But as Static Thunder said, I just love having more Rangers, and I could not agree more. That is always really, really fun. I love seeing I love seeing team designs in as many colors as possible, especially when it's a team design that I really like Kinoger. I love seeing that in white. I love seeing that in silver. I love that we have it in purple already. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. So more Rangers, the better, because it also gives them more opportunities to fill more potential Ranger key sets with more potential Ranger keys. And I like that. So I think that's going to kind of sum it up for the Sentai stuff. I think that was a pretty good discussion on it, if I do say so myself. I believe next I have Kamen Rider stuff. There it is. It's always a very long transition between me clicking it and the slide popping up. But final word on that: 7th chronological 7th team order. Yep, that's exactly it. So yeah, 7th chronological 7th team or 6th team order. And there's been many different examples of that being the case. I mean, Deca Ranger is a perfect example. I wonder if it's intentional that there's actually a lot of decent Deca Ranger connections in terms of how the 6th and extra Rangers are working, because of the fact that what am I saying? Because of the 20th anniversary or whatever. I wonder if there's any kind of truth to that, because you have this, I wouldn't so call the Kina mentor figure, obviously, but you kind of have like this outside higher up authority figure being a ranger, being a 6th Ranger, and then you have the actual 6th Ranger later. And you have a Ranger that's like a black colored Ranger. This time it's silver. Those are somewhat similar. Not really. But then you have white for the 6th for both of them. So there's sort of kind of connections like that in a way. But that was a very perfect example of, Deca Break was the 7th chronological, but the 6th in team order. I mean, he literally has a 6 on his suit. So like you really can't argue that he's the 6th there, even though he did debut 7th. So it's one of those weird things there. But as Caboose said here, as we transition into Rider, for sure, if you see my picks, I take that I'm going to be there for the Rider content. It's your boy's Hyperfixation. And I could not agree more. I love Kamen Rider. But Kamen Rider videos don't do as well on the channel, unfortunately, which is weird and ironic that I say that, because if you go to my channel and you look at the 2 highest most viewed videos on my channel, the only videos to ever break 100,000 views, both of them are Kamen Rider videos. But any more recent videos just don't. And I definitely need to tap back into that gold mine and make another video like those other two. But yeah, I don't really. I mean, I do a lot of rider updates in my Toku talks a lot of times, so it's not like I don't ever do Kamen Rider videos, and they do sometimes do well, but they're just never going to be like a top priority for me. And if I didn't even have time to do the video on the second quarter Kinoger stuff, then unfortunately Geats was going to be way, way, way lower on the list. Unfortunately, even though I love this show, and as Tyler said, what the heck is a Kamen Rider? Is that the Japanese Power Rangers show? Yeah, it's the Japanese Power Rangers show. That came first before any of that stuff. So. But yeah, this is something that is so old, but also kind of relevant because the one on the right here has not actually debuted on the show yet. It's going to be debuting next weekend. But this combo set just came out this past weekend, so it's still somewhat relevant. Sentai is just enough Ranger adjacent that's pretty much a goldmine for content. I mean, all of these franchises are. There is so much stuff that you can do content on from Tokusatsu stuff, clearly. But yeah, so. But as Static Thunder said, I have honestly never seen Kamen Rider, but I love the heck out of the suits, man. So epic. I could not agree more. Kamen Rider suits, like, legitimately, more often than not, Kamen Rider is my favorite of the Toku properties. Most of the time, I'm more interested in Kamen Rider than what Sentai is doing. I'm more interested in Kamen Rider than what Power Rangers is doing. Definitely more times than always more interested than what Ultraman is doing. Unfortunately, I just have a kind of a hard time getting into Ultraman sometimes, even though I do try, but I love Kamen Rider so much. However, I will admit that the Reiwa era is kind of not getting me out of it, but I haven't been as invested in the Reiwa era stuff as I had been in Heisei Phase 2. I liked 01, didn't really care for Saber, fell off Revice hard, but Geats is really good. So I love Geats so much. If you have never seen Kamen Rider like Static Thunder, I highly recommend it, even though this is, I guess, spoiler stuff, because this is like the most recent toys and forms and such like that. But as Tyler said, I know nothing. One of the prizes I got at your PMC panel was a gimmick item, and I had to ask what it was to my friend because I did not know. Oh, yeah. I remember Chris giving those out. One of the Chris's. There was two of them there. But yeah, those, I remember he had, I think was it an extra lock seat or something that he had? But yeah, it was a Geo Ride Watch show. Yeah, okay, that makes sense too. Those are my favorite, actually. I actually have some right here. Here's 01 and Saber's ride watches, but I love those a lot. But yeah, Kamen Rider's good. Kamen Rider's some good stuff. So up here, might have said I like Kamen Rider. Currently watching Gaim. Ooh, good choice. That was my very first show that I watched live as it aired, and I love Gaim. It's still been my all-time favorite Rider series by far. I mean, that and Drive, those two are my top two favorites. But I will say, not that Geats is giving those ones a run for its money yet, but if it keeps the quality that I've been seeing with the show so far, we might have a bit of a competition here. But Tyler said my favorite one is the one with the O's, Kamen Rider Cheerios. I think, yeah, that's it. That's what that one is about. It's about Cheerios. Where were we? So Kamen Rider Geats, the new toys that just dropped, which I just bought this like last night. So I am looking forward to finally getting this thing. But we have on the left here, we have the Boost Mark II buckle, which is the red one with all the little chrome pieces and everything. And that creates one of the most beautiful looking Kamen Rider suits that I've seen in a while. And that is Kamen Rider Geats Boost Mark II. I love that suit. It looks so good. And that's why I think it's kind of unfortunate that it's going to get upgraded and immediately underpowered, I suppose, by on the right, when you combine Boost Mark II with the already released Laser Raise Riser, try saying that 5 times fast, to create Laser Boost. So Laser Boost here is also a cool looking form, don't get me wrong. I really do like how it looks, but I think Boost Mark II looks so much cooler than it. And Laser Boost is going to be kind of it's going to be the form that he uses primarily for the next like 3 months until he gets his final form. So we're going to be seeing a lot of Laser Boost and not as much of Boost Mark II. But yeah, it's going to be said. I finally nabbed a Kamen Rider figure art. I did buy the figure art of Magnum Boost, which actually should be here probably within the next week or so, because I just shipped out my HLJ box. So I actually should be getting that pretty soon. And hey, we have Eric in the chat. TrekkieB47. Damn, I'm an hour late. No problem. We're still talking. We are at the Kamen Rider portion of this stream here tonight. But yeah, as Kubu said, Jin really said, I like your look, but maybe try my fit on too. Pretty much. That's pretty much exactly what happened here. But I find it just very interesting that you take the whole laser raise riser and just clip it onto the belt as its own buckle along with Boost Mark II. And we saw from the editing your voice all day. Oh yeah. I'm really excited to listen to that podcast episode because when did we recorded that, like, oh gosh, was that like a month ago at this point? So, but Tyler's just being Tyler again. So, but a huge old concert. Yeah, Ron was here, and he told us everything about Once and Always. It's gonna be a really good time. But I don't even know where I'm at this point anymore. But yeah, so the Kamen Rider Geek stuff. Yeah, a month ago, I figured, yeah, wow, time is just, it's going way too fast. Yikes. But anyway, so the Geek stuff, I like this a lot. I think it looks really cool. I cannot wait to get mine in like a week. Will I do a video on it? Who knows? I would like to. But my raised buckle videos have not been doing amazingly, but that, shouldn't be deterring me from making more videos about it anyway. If I can fit it into the schedule, cool. If I can't, it will just be, I can just gush about Geets on the member only live streams, where I can just kind of talk about whatever people want me to talk about. So, and nobody's telling me to stop talking about it. So I'm going to talk about Geets as, in any chance that I can. But the form here on the right, the laser boost form. Yeah, I think I said it. Yeah, laser boost. That form is debuting in the show next weekend's episode, which I want to say is episode 28, I think. I think 27 is the one that just aired tonight. And I'm pretty sure Laser Boost wasn't in it. Laser Boost was in the episode preview for next week. So Boost Mark II just debuted last weekend in episode 26, the one here on the left. So I love both the forms. Like I said a couple minutes ago, I have a bias towards Boost Mark II, but then again, I have a bias to like that red and black color scheme. I'm always going to like things that have like that red and black color scheme. It looks so pretty. But I love the futuristic whites with the blue eyes and everything when you combine like Jin's armor on there. So, or Jean's armor on there. So I think that's really, really cool as well. So, yep, I bought it. So I bought the combo set, the one, because I didn't get the laser raise riser yet. So I bought the combo set with the laser raise riser and the Boost Mark II buckle. And I should be getting that probably in the next week or so, alongside a bunch of other Geek stuff, because I have his figure art coming in. I have the buckle that has the other two cards that go with the raise riser. I have the box that comes with the 3 weapon buckles. I think there's some other stuff. I've been buying some other stuff. I bought the build buckle because I didn't have that one yet. I bought the saber buckle. I bought the clear arrow buckle. So there's a lot of Geek stuff coming out. So, and I'm looking forward to getting all of it because I really like this show quite a bit. And like I said a couple minutes ago, it's the closest that Rider's been, in my opinion, since like probably Build, in terms of actually being a show that could potentially give like Geimer Drive a run for its money in my book, because Geimer Drive will always be my top 2. Honestly, both of those are probably my top 1. Sometimes I have a difficulty saying, is Geimer my actual favorite or is Drive my actual favorite? It usually leans more of Geimer, but I know like my top 5 is definitely like Geimer, Drive, X-Aid, Build, Ryuki. Maybe not in that particular order, except for Geimer Drive being at the top, but Geets probably is going to be a top 5 show for me at the very least, but I could easily see it becoming a top 3 if it keeps that quality up for the back half of the show. But we are in the back half now because it is, 27 episodes aired. I've seen 26 of them because 27 hasn't been subbed yet, but I love it. I love it so much. I'm going to keep buying all the stuff for it. I've pre-ordered all the premium Bandai stuff too. I can't wait to get the Vision Driver, the ID core set, the Jamato buckle. I'm all here for it. It's been a fantastic show so far. Best Rider one I've seen in years. And if anybody has not seen it, I highly, highly, highly recommend it. And Pierre Mighty said, always liked the Kamen Rider content. Thank you. I appreciate that quite a bit because I do love making it. I love making the Kamen Rider content. And there actually will be a video on the channel Wednesday, I think, because I have a Once and Always video planned for Monday. And then I have a Kamen Rider, I guess Kamen Rider video. There's some Sentai elements to it as well. But there was this massive leak list of upcoming premium Bandai stuff, which like 90% of is Kamen Rider stuff, but there's a little bit of some Sentai stuff on there as well. and that list just started happening or just started coming true tonight, with the first thing on that list actually being revealed like an hour and a half ago, or actually about 2 hours ago. So I definitely want to talk about that. So we're going to be talking about some stuff there, and there's some geek stuff in there as well. But this won't really get a focus this particular toy because this is like old news, so this is why it's in the stream. But I'll probably do, or I'd like to do a video on the actual combo set once I get it, and then stay tuned for that video on Wednesday. So looking at the chat here, I wonder what the other upgrades we have. Actually, yeah, that's what I was talking about, the stuff on that list. But I wonder what the other upgrades will be that we found about. Maybe maybe Buffa will get a Keen Jamato form. Notch Sparrow. Oh yeah, that's the thing too. I would really like to see Notch Sparrow get a new form, because they kind of hinted that he would use the Jamato buckle, which would give him a new form. But I'm hoping that if when Buffa gets something of his own, whether that's a premium Bandai item or maybe even a last minute deluxe item, I'd like to see then, the Jump to Buckle move to Nudge Sparrow, because I think it would be cool to see the other riders get stuff that like isn't Geats and Buffa to an extent, because I feel like Tycoon and Nago are kind of lacking in additional forms, especially Nago. Poor Naga's been just strolling around with Beat for like 12 episodes or longer than that at this point. She does have the Fever slot that she's used more than anybody else for the most part, but I still like to see her kind of get something of her own that's like not just kind of using something that somebody else isn't using currently, because that's just kind of what she is doing. So I'm definitely interested to see where this goes. I think that because we've gotten so many premium Bandai items so far, that tells me, I mean, the fact that I saw, or whenever I saw the sound making ID core sets, that's when I knew that the Geats toy line must be doing well, because whenever the Bandai starts doing like those really odd releases, or quote unquote like random releases or obscure things that you would never think of them to do, that tells me that the toy lines are doing well, because they wouldn't probably do those kind of things if it wasn't. So, and then we got things like you can buy just adult straps for the Desire Driver. They've never really done that before. You usually had to wait for like a CSM toy release, and this time you don't have to. You can just go on Premium Bandai. It's expensive, but you can just buy adult size straps for your Desire Driver. You can get all these ID cores. So like you can really make your Desire Driver like basically a CSM release during the show, which tells me that like this toy line must be doing pretty solidly. So I would not be surprised if we get some other unplanned or previously unplanned power-ups for other riders and stuff that they can release as, different premium Bandai things over the next couple months or so. And I would be all here for it. I would buy all of it. I've bought about 95% of the Raised Buckle toy line at this point. I'm missing a couple odds and ends here and there, some metallic Gashapon stuff and some other random nonsense, but I will buy it. So the Bandai, I would say if you're watching, you're not. If you're listening, you're also not, because there's like only 5 people here and a very small window of people or a very small group of people that even could see this stream. So Bandai definitely isn't listening. But sometimes I think they always are, because they know the things that we want and they make them. So I want more. I want more Geats stuff. But kind of looking at the chat here once again, Caboose said, I think that the Kitsune design style for Geats is neat. I agree. Foxes are a cool animal to do like motifs for. I feel like it's something we don't get too terribly often in Sentai stuff, well, yeah, this is Rider in Toku stuff. But I definitely do think that it is a really, really cool design, or basis for a design. And I think that they've been doing a really good job with that throughout all of Geats' forms. And I agree. I think it's really, really good. I also, Caboose said, I also still need to finish Fies, all the bros. I've never seen somebody call O's fans bros with 3 O's, but I love that. I think that's a great terminology for fans of O's. I love that a lot, actually. Yeah, that's good. But yeah, Fies, I started Fies years ago. I never finished it, which is what I usually do with Toku shows. That's usually how it goes. I've never finished Build, which I don't know why. I stopped at like episode like 45 of Build. Whatever like the last 3 episodes are, I just have never seen them. And I don't know why. There's no like logical or reasonable explanation as to why that has happened. I know how Build ends, so like I guess that's probably why. I just never bothered. But like, why? Why didn't I take like an hour to like just finish the show? So like, yeah, as Eric said, Josh, I don't know. I don't know why I do this. I always like start a show and then just like don't finish. So the fact that I'm caught up on Sentai and Rider right now must tell you that it's pretty good. Like I finished Dawn Brothers. I loved Dawn Brothers. I'm caught up on, well, it'd be kind of dumb if I wasn't caught up on Kinoger because it has only aired 2 episodes, but like I'm caught up on Geats, and that's like 27 episodes. And once you get into the higher numbers, it's usually when I end up falling off, just because I don't know, honestly. I think it's part of the reason, or I think part of the reason behind it is that Toku Twitter just constantly posts spoilers from these shows. So most of the time, even when I'm not watching the show, I know exactly what's happening in it. Like that's how it's been for Power Rangers. I haven't watched. I mean, I'm still trying to go through all the Power Rangers, which is another reason why I haven't been. But like, I've seen not a single full episode of Dino Fury season 2. I've seen like half of Dino Fury season 1, and the last Power Ranger season that I finished in whole was Dino Charge. So that's like 10 years ago almost. So, but I know everything. I know every single thing that happens in Beast Morphers, Dino Fury, Dino Supercharge, all that kind of stuff. But I haven't like sat down and like watched it because not that I feel like I don't need to, but it never feels like a top priority because like I know because of the fandom. It's the same thing with the comics as I mentioned like an hour ago. It was Eric said Josh again. I know. I need to not do that. That's why, like, I've been trying to watch through Power Rangers for the last 4 years, and I'm in Dino Charge right now, and like I have a whole series planned to do a catch up on the comics, hence the name Comic Catch Up. And like I said, I talked about that about an hour ago at the stream at the very beginning. That's a new series that I'm going to be doing, but I'm trying to get better with that. That's definitely something that I need to stop doing. And so I've been, making it a point to where I kind of sit down and I watch Sentai Rider every week in like that hour chunk because, sometimes it's hard to like find an hour between like, school stuff and channel stuff to watch all this stuff. But I'm trying to get better at that to where I don't just like leave shows hanging because I really do need to stop doing that. So Kabu said thick boys need belts too. That was a couple minutes ago. And I'm presuming that is referring to the straps for the Desire Driver. And I fully agree. Because CSM belts don't even really fit me, so that's how you know that I'm way out of the range of people that they are expecting can wear Comrade belts, unfortunately. So I have one CSM belt. It's the double driver one, and that on like its highest setting even just barely fits me. So yeah, so it's one of those things that makes you self-conscious of yourself when you can't even fit into the CSM sized belts. So. Yeah, I agree though. It's nice that they are selling the adult size straps, but even that's why I haven't pre-ordered those because I don't even feel like that would even be worth it for me. I will just keep my Desire Driver on the little Diza display that I have in my dorm, and then I wish I had my Desire Driver with me right now since I've been talking about Geats for the last like 20 minutes but I don't because my Desire Driver is up in my dorm. I'll see it in like 24 hours when I go back to my dorm, but it's there. What other stuff did I leave? I left the entire Lightning collection up at the dorm during the duration of spring break. Like I have none of my Lightning figures with me right now, and that kind of feels weird. Huh? Yeah, those have just been sitting there for like a week without me having access to them. But yeah, well, because at this point it's too much to bring them home for like the week of spring break, and it's only an hour drive away. It's not like I'm like really really far. But at this point, I have 14 of those storage cases for the Lightning collection, so transporting it is just a royal pain, and so that was never going to happen. But I don't know why I'm going on that side tangent, but yeah, as Kabu said, they post so much you don't even need to watch. Yeah, that's pretty much how it is, but that isn't how it should be. Like I should still watch the shows, and I should still read the comics. I should not have all of my knowledge of those things come from Twitter posts all the time. So I should actually experience that media for myself. But so far, I think I've done a pretty good job pretending like I do, but also not because I am not pretending like I do. I don't even know what I'm ranting on about at this point. But yeah, case in point, Geats, it's great. I highly recommend it. These toys are cool. I can't wait to get them, and I need to be better. So that's what we have taken from that. Which brings me to my final slide, which I clicked about 5 seconds ago and will pop up right now. And that is this guy, something that never would have gotten its own video. Maybe once I actually get this thing, it actually will. But this is a fun thing. So this is a upcoming Nendroid for Shin Ultraman. So Ultraman content, I talk about sometimes, Rider, I talked about here tonight. Rider content doesn't always do great on my channel. Ultraman content does terrible on my channel, so I will probably never cover it. However, I do look at it, if Power Rangers is kind of the thing I focus on the most, and then Rider, Ultraman is like on that like totem pole, but it's at the very bottom of that totem pole in terms of like things that I'm actively paying attention to what the franchise is doing. However, this is the upcoming Nindroid for Shin Ultraman, which I don't believe has actually had. I think it's like one of the first tokusatsu Nindroids that they've ever really made. So, yeah, Tyler goes, that's Japanese Power Rangers. And as Eric said, I have most of the Ultraman media releases, but I need to watch them. I have I'm looking at my DVD shelf. I have Orb and Jeed, which I've seen about half of Jeed, but as we just discussed, I never finished it, of course. So, but I really liked Jeed. Ultraman Z, I got to the final like 2 episodes of and also didn't finish it. So, Ultraman is the one franchise to where there has been no show that I finished. Rider, Sentai, Power Rangers, I've finished multiple series of all of those franchises, probably at least 10 shows from each of those franchises. Ultraman, I've never once finished a single run of it. Maybe one day I'll finish at least one season of Ultraman. Today's not that day. However, since they have never really done tokusatsu Nindroids before, I'm definitely inclined or tempted to pre-order this because what happened with this, so the reason why I saw this was even a thing, is that my girlfriend Katie, she collects Nindroids a ton. In fact, I have 3 Nindroids on pre-order for her. So I have bought Nindroids, but they've never been for myself. She's gonna be started on this because they're making a SpongeBob Nindroid, and it comes out, I believe it's in June, and so she pre-ordered that for me as a Christmas gift, and I think it looks so adorable, and I think he fits perfectly in this style. So I will be beginning my own Nindroid collection this summer, and they did one of these big events. She was at my dorm, and I got to see the perfect representation of what like my reactions to like Lightning Collection announcements are. Yeah, I that's a good point. I forgot about the Channel Leon on Nindroid. That would be a technical tokusatsu Nindroid. I should get that one because that one actually also really works in this style. But I got to see like the perfect representation of like my reaction to a Hasbro stream through her reacting to this big Nindroid announcement that happened like a month ago, where they were just dropping new Nindroid prototypes like left and right for like 2 hours straight. And then this one pops up, and I'm like, oh shoot, that's Shin Ultraman. I'm gonna probably buy that one. So if that begins a whole rabbit hole of Nindroid purchases besides the SpongeBob one that she pre-ordered for me, so be it. I also pre-ordered the Elmo one because it's Elmo. I loved Elmo when I was 4, so I want Elmo. So I got SpongeBob and Elmo and Shin Ultraman as my first 3 Nindroids, which is quite the lineup to begin the collection, if I do say so myself. So that's a funny lineup. I'm gonna post them next to each other on my shelf. It's gonna be quite interesting. But I wanted to talk about it here because I thought it was cool that they are doing some sort of tokusatsu one besides like the one that was mentioned here by Caboose, the Channel Leon one. So if they made like a Shin Ultraman, Shin Kamen Rider would be a cool one for them to do. I don't think they would really do any Sentai ones. That just doesn't seem like something that they would do. But if they were to do more, I'm sure they're only doing Shin Ultraman because Shin Ultraman, I think, got kind of a more additional push in merchandise than like other franchises or other iterations of it would be. But at the same time, it also seems like Ultraman has always been more open to having their brand do a bunch of other stuff, like the media releases that Eric mentioned a couple minutes ago. We have pretty much the entire franchise on official media releases in the U.S. You definitely can't say that for Sentai or Rider. So it definitely seems like they're more open to, or Super Eye is more open to pushing that brand out to other things. So I wouldn't expect like Rider or Sentai to get Nindroids, but it's cool to see that Ultraman's doing it, at least for the Shin design. Because this is the one from the movie. It's not actually like original Ultraman or any of the ones from the franchise or from the show franchise. But maybe if this one does well, they'd be more open to doing it. But I definitely want to pre-order it to support it. There's no pre-orders that are up for it yet. As you can see, this is just the gray prototype. And Nindroids kind of just seem to go up randomly, kind of from the brief, very limited knowledge of them that I have. My girlfriend Katie would know a lot more about it than I would. So in terms of like when Nindroids actually kind of go up and everything, because I've just, like I said, only pre-ordered a couple for her, but all anime ones because that's what she collects. I pre-ordered her Aki and Makima from Chainsaw Man and Bochi from Bochi the Rock. 2 shows, nothing tokusatsu related, but Chainsaw Man and Bochi the Rock, two animes that I highly, highly recommend. I love both of those shows greatly. Those were a lot of fun to watch, but not the point of the stream. But looking at the chat here, we had Static Thunder talking about Teletubbies for Nendroids. That would be interesting. I don't know if I don't think I would buy those. I did watch Teletubbies when I was younger, but not a ton. But that would be interesting. I kind of want to see what that would go for. Tyler says the one theme song I've heard is from Ultraman is the original one in Ginga. And gives me serotonin. I mean, it was brain altering. Ginga was saying was brain altering. Yeah, I agree. There's been a number of Ultraman themes that I thought were pretty great. I like Jeed's a lot. I like Zet's a lot. There's another one that I really like to think. Oh, I liked Decker's theme pretty decently. The most recent one that just wrapped up. But I mean, it's tokusatsu music, and most of the time tokusatsu music or just Japanese music in general, honestly, just always is a pretty decent listening to. So that was a weird way to phrase that. Pretty decent listening to. They're good songs. That's I guess what I was trying to say with that. I've been talking for a while, so and it's almost midnight, so I will be wrapping it up here probably pretty soon. But yeah, that is Shin Ultraman. I believe that is the last thing I had on the slides. Let me just double check here. Yeah, that looks to be it. So as you can see here, I have that tweet pulled up from Legion of Boom that we looked at, and yeah, so that is that. I think I can go ahead and close the laptop here now. I don't need this opened anymore. I think we're good if I close the laptop. I won't, just in case like it accidentally like kicks, because I have two Joshes on the stream right now. I have like my desktop one and my laptop one. I don't want to like close the laptop and accidentally like kick the one that's actually talking out of the stream right now. So we'll just leave this how it is. But yeah, that's kind of the main things that I wanted to hit here tonight. Kind of looking more at the chat here once again. Let's see. So yeah, Caboose said we didn't get a Figma or Mafex for Shin Kamen Rider, so that definitely says something about the marketing. I agree. Yeah, like I said, I think it's just kind of a matter of Super Raya seems a lot more open to Ultraman being out there in different figure lines and different toy avenues than Rider and Sentai is, which does make sense because like Ultraman has like figure arts and stuff like Sentai and Rider do, but they're not as like married to that figure line as like those other franchises are, especially Kamen Rider to an extent. And Sentai kind of now as they're bringing it back, so it's one of those things to where I think they're kind of more open to the idea of other companies doing figures or toys and stuff for Ultraman that, you know, Bandai wouldn't specifically do or Tamashii wouldn't specifically do like they would for the other brands. So I think that's just kind of one of the things there. And like I said, just in general, Super Raya is more open to expanding the franchise. But Tyler said that they did a Thomas and Friends one of these and people got confused. I do remember that. I remember that one being a thing. Because Nendroid are, they're kind of like, in my opinion, they're sort of like much more expensive, much more detailed and worth it Funko Pops. If that's kind of a weird way to compare it, but they're kind of like that, you know, that kind of chibi style that just does a multitude of random franchises that have numbers on them that just go up to like arbitrary, astronomically large numbers. Because like you look at like new Nendroids and they have like numbers in the thousands, and so because like they just continuously number them as well. So I think it's a kind of a similar comparison thing. It's just Nendroids are about $40 to $50, and but you get a lot of accessories and stuff with them. So they, I mean, like I said. With my girlfriend, she has a whole collection of them at her house, just like all my stuff like I have back here. She has like a whole display shelf of like 50 or so Nendroids that she has. She loves those things. So but there's that. And as we talked about here, I rarely get Nendroids, but I got Mousy and Corone because I don't know, I like the design. That's in SpongeBob because obviously, yeah, you gotta get SpongeBob, right? I mean, I think he has the Imagination Rainbow. I think he comes with Gary. He has, I think he has, hold on. You know what? We're going to bring up the SpongeBob Nendroid. Screw it. I can do what I want. So, I'm going to bring up the pictures of the SpongeBob Nendroid. So let's share my screen again. I don't know why I shared that, or I opened this tab. Because I could have just opened this tab on the iMac instead of the MacBook. So let me just do that. SpongeBob Nendroid. Put that over there. Open up images. Present the screen. Look at this friend. He looks so good. So I can't wait to get this. He has a Krabby Patty. He has Gary. He looks so adorable. Like I said, he has the little rainbow for imagination. He's got his Krusty Krab hat. And I think he works perfectly in this style. Like, I think this is a perfect... Oh, I closed the tab. Oh, no. Well, you saw it. So that was a perfect version, or like, I think it's a perfect character for that style that Nendroid has, that kind of chibi kind of figure style. So I'm very excited to get that thing. That would probably be a too many topics video if anybody's interested in that. For my second channel, I would do a video there. That would obviously never be something for Toku topics. That has nothing to do with Tokusatsu, even though I also could talk about SpongeBob for a multitude of hours and days, especially from anything from the first 3 seasons, because I think that there's still some of the top-notch quality level of television that has ever been made, some of the most top-notch quality. So, but SpongeBob tangent aside, so Caboose said Zet's theme is a bop. Completely agree. I love that song. I love that show. Static Thunder said, Josh, can I have you pay off your contacts to tell Hasbro to make more COGS 2-packs? I need to increase my army, currently at 55. I need to get to 100. That is nuts. I love, like, that picture that you've posted with your COG army is incredible. Also, that 2-pack is incredible. I love that thing. But, like, wow, that is dedication right there, let me tell you. So, are they not in stock anymore? I mean, I haven't looked at a COG 2-pack to know for sure in months. But I didn't realize that they're out of stock if they are, or if you're waiting, or if you're looking for them to be like on sale or something. Because I know they were on Pulse's eBay for a long period of time, and they were on obviously Pulse itself because they were technically Pulse exclusives. I love that 2-pack a lot. So that was one of the they for some reason keep making the army builders in the Lightning Collection like some of the best figures ever for some reason. So but they need more variations. That makes sense. Yeah, that's understandable. So I mean, you know, Hasbro likes to remake molds all the time or reuse molds all the time. So I'm sure that that would probably be not out of the realm of possibility for them to do, you know, more eventually. So I don't know what other variants they would do. I know there's like some other colors, I think, from like some Power Rangers video games or something like that they could do, but it would definitely be an interesting thing to see if they would want to really get the most mileage out of the mold as they have. I already think that the use of it for the electrocuted cog, as they refer to it, with Rocky's Tonfas was perfect. Also because I felt no obligation to army build that one in particular. I bought one of that to have the Tonfas, of course, and also to continuously have everything in the Lightning Collection, but I think that was a good way to, you know, release an army builder like that. I think it worked out quite well. So I would be good with that. So let's see what else we got in the chat here. Army builder and crossover figs have been the best built in quality. I agree wholeheartedly. For some reason the army builders and the crossovers do make sense because I feel like there's probably some sort of like, maybe not necessarily a legal thing, but there's probably some sort of expectation from the companies, you know, Capcom for Street Fighter, Sony Pictures for Cobra Kai, and Nickelodeon and Viacom and stuff for Ninja Turtles. I'm sure there's probably, you know, some sort of obligation to where they have to make those figures or kind of pay an additional level of attention that they most certainly do not for their main figures to those ones in particular. So I'm sure that's probably why the crossover figures have been some of the best. But then again, the Cobra Kai ones feel very, very lazy. And there has been some quality control problems with breakage and stuff on the Street Fighters. So maybe that's not necessarily the case. But at least for the Ninja Turtle ones, for the most part, that was back in the era to where you bought something from Hasbro for the Lightning Collection, and you actually, more often than not, got all the pieces, and it didn't break or was already broken right out of the box. Good times. I remember those days of a year and a half ago. So, but there is that. So I think that's going to do it, though. I think that's going to do it for this Patreon stream for February and March of 2023. So we have 4 people watching right now. I think the max we have is 5, but that is definitely a win compared to last month's where we had 1 person. I want to say it was Pure Midas. I think was here, the 1 viewer of last month's stream. So I did a poll on Patreon a couple days ago saying that, or asking if it was cool if I posted the January one as a public video now, because it's just been sitting on my channel as a private live stream for 2 months. So even though it's completely out of date for the most part, I am going to probably at least wait for a month to pass before I make these public videos if anybody's interested in them. But while they're happening, I think that they are a cool thing to just have. I think we had a really good conversation here. The chat, the more people that are in the chat, the more side tangents we can get on. I never started this live stream expecting that I was going to be talking about SpongeBob and androids, or talking about my bad habits of not finishing Toku shows, or whatever we went on tangents for. I think that was really, really cool. We had a little comic tangent about an hour ago, about actually almost an hour and a half ago at this point, that I think was pretty fun. So this was awesome. This was really, really great. So, but I also wouldn't mind if we only did these every couple months, if it means we can do them on Saturday nights. I will keep trying to do them on Saturday nights, because obviously it works out better than the Monday night I did the January one for. And that was just only because that was just the most convenient, because with the semester and everything and with college, it's easier for me to do them on a weeknight, weirdly, than a weekend night, because most of the time the weekends are booked with friend plans or trying to cram in school projects, or also use the weekend for a lot of channel work, because I can't necessarily get a ton of channel work done during the week all the time, because I got to go to classes and my friends want to do things with me while I'm on campus, which of course that's understandable. We only have so much time left that I'm going to see some of these people probably for a long period of time. So it's going to be, very bittersweet when it ends in like 2 months, but I definitely will try to do the April one on a Saturday. And then the May one will be tricky though, because the May one every weekend is booked either with my graduation from college, like in the second week of May, and then like the third week of May is my birthday. And then also my sister is graduating from high school. So that's going to be busy. We're going to be doing stuff with that. So May's already been booked up for years, honestly. So that's going to be, it's May 2023 is going to be a very chaotic and emotional month for me, apparently. So that's going to be a time, but yeah, so I think, like I said, that's going to do it for the stream. I had a lot of fun here tonight. I hope that this was enjoyable for everybody. People in the chat, like Caboose and Static, are saying that it was. So I definitely very much appreciate that. Yeah, of course, thanks for putting up for my tangent, including comments. Can't wait for more when I can join. I love this. This was awesome. I think it's great having these Patreon member streams to where I can kind of have a little bit more of a, intimate, for lack of a better word, conversation with people that I can't really have with, whenever I do the streams or reacting to live streams with Hasbro and stuff, where there's like 100 people watching and there's just constant comments all the time, and it's hard to keep up with them and everything like that. So also, Caboose said you got your birthday off next week. Happy early birthday. Hope you have a good one. And I think that's probably going to wrap it up here. So since I will have the intention of probably releasing this as a public video, at least in April, it would be at least April 18th would be the earliest that I would put it out publicly, because I want to make it a true Patreon exclusive for at least a month. I'm going to kind of end it like a typical video, so I can kind of have that be the thing. So of course, until next time, you guys can follow me on Twitter at LivingRangerKey. Are there any? Oh, wow. I just started like choking on my own spit there. That was not a good way to end the video. Oh my gosh, that was embarrassing. Let's try that again. You can follow me on Twitter at LivingRangerKey or LennyFigPR, and I'll see you guys all on the next Patreon exclusive live stream or just Toku Topics video in general. Thank you guys for watching so much. And of course, thank you for your continued support on Patreon. It really does mean a lot to me that people like my content enough to want to be a member. So I really do appreciate that. I hope you guys all had a lot of fun, and I will talk to you all later. So have a good night, everybody. I will see you all at the next one or in other videos, like I just said. And I'm waiting for the broadcast to end because I clicked the button.